Hey everyone, I got a request or a few requests to show how we set up our settlement sheet. And to do that, I'm going to record this video. I'll share it. Feel free to download it and save it. I'm just going to leave it live for about 30 days. But really, when you set up the settlement sheet, Filevine will create a fusion for you. It's very basic. I tried to get them to make it more complex, and they said it couldn't be done, but I figured out how. So I house my settlement sheet in my insurance section. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I may have multiple settlements in a case. So there may be multiple liability carriers or car insurance PIP or UIM. So by putting it in the insurance section, I can generate a new settlement sheet for every settlement on every policy. So I can have multiple sheets. And I'll show you also that if your staff updates the medical records and the expenses section as you go through, then the subsequent settlement sheets will be updated with the correct values and disbursements. So first I'm going to share my screen. I'll show you how I set up the insurance tab, and then I'll show you how I set up the reports that are needed to make the Fusion work, because Fusion is just a collection of reports. And then finally, I'll show you my Fusion, which is in Excel, and how I have that set up. So I will share my screen. I'm going to share you with the test Filevine project that we have. This, which you should be able to see now. Oh, little technical difficulties. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So this is the insurance section, and I have my insurance tab set up so that once the insurance type is selected, then it will populate different fields. I'm still building this out. I can see a mistake down here. This shouldn't come up until I select the type, but nonetheless. So here for this example, we'll do a liability policy, and you'll see, so all the fields change depending on the type. This is a liability. I do a mass gen down here to select letters of rep, different letters that go to the carrier, and then also I have a demand snapshot, which is another version of the Fusion that I have generated for the case. So once the demand is set, then the insurance tab will do some offers and midpoint calculations automatically. And as you put them in, you add rounds. I think I have 10 rounds. And once the case is settled, you click yes. You put in the attorney's fee. This is a manual amount. The attorney's fee, the settlement amount, the settlement date, and then this should be automatically calculated, but I don't have it set up that way for other reasons. I can't change it right now. But I have an instruction here. So if there's more settlements, make sure that everything's updated between settlements. Otherwise, the subsequent settlement sheet will show the settlement expenses. So when we generate the settlement statement, you click this as a Fusion button. It's generating. I don't have any data in this one, so I won't be able to show you how the calculations work, but at least I will be able to show you the settlement sheet, and I'm happy to email you the template if you want to pull it. But the template, we'll talk about in a minute. It may or may not work for your system. So here you can see it generates as a PDF. It's actually an Excel template, and I'll show you how we do that. But when we click on it, you can see our settlement sheet. The values are going to be blank, but you can see all of this will automatically populate. The client's name will be here. The calculations will be itemized, or all the expenses and everything will be itemized here. The sums will come in the totals, and the client's take home will be there. And then by generating it in a PDF and as Excel sheet, you're going to have the formatting the right way, so that from here, once we're done, we can go into the back into the project. We go to the docs section. The PDF, I have it automatically saving to the settlement folder. And here once we click on it once, we can send it right to VineSign. And then we can do an e-signature for our settlement sheet. So that's why it's generating the PDF. So let's go, we'll look at the back end of the Fusion. So the first thing you need to do is to understand how Fusions work. Fusions are just a collection of other reports. So this is my settlement sheet Fusion that you can see, and I have it pulling from 5 different reports. And the reason why I have from these 5 reports is because these reports pull from the collection sections. And that's my understanding the only way we can do it. So here is the template, and I will show it to you in its final form. My computer is having a case of the Fridays, but let me see here. I'll share this with you. I'm just going to share my desktop. All right, you should be able to see the entire desktop now, but this is the Fusion for files by my settlement sheet. What's really good about these is you can use formulas within the cells to automatically calculate everything. You have to use the repeat functions. So you use begin repeat, and you have to put in the name of the report. And I actually copied these from the templates, but I'll show you that for a second. And then you have to put end repeat. End repeat, just write end repeat, don't write the whole report. All the totals will automatically populate through here. And it pulls from the various reports. So the reports that you would need are list of expenses, list of medical expenses, list of insurance items, and these are reports that I created in the reports section. List of open projects. I did list of open projects because I needed to pull the client's name and the attorney in charge for signing the sheet. But if I didn't have, for example, medical expenses, then it wouldn't pull anything for that report. And it also wouldn't pull the client's name if that's where I was pulling the client's name. So I made a separate report for the only purpose of pulling the client's name and the attorney in charge who's also going to be signing our settlement sheet. So once you make your reports, then you can download all of the coding for the reports under the default template. And this coding is what you need to put into the Fusion so that you can see it works. Whenever you're pulling from the various reports, so you can see all the reports, and these are the codes here, and it gives you the begin repeat and the end repeat, so you can just copy this into wherever you want the cells to go. So here you can see the code, and you need to put the report number. It took me a little while to figure this out, but it's pretty simple. The report number is merely these numbers on the right hand side. So when you're copying the data into the Fusion, you need to use this report number followed by this to get the data to pull in. Let me show you the settlement sheet again so it makes sense. So you'll see here is the name of the report. That's the name of the report, and then the full name. You'll see it on the so you can see it. See the repeating here. Let me make this more viewable. But begin repeat. This is the report name and the report number. Okay, and then if you need to pull like a specific, just one specific field, you can do that by here. You can take the example. It's a report number, double colon, client full name. So then when you put a button in the Filevine, so let me show you where that is. So we're going to go down to the insurance section. it is. So when you, after you've built the Fusion, you can select it here, put where you want it to save. And I always export it as a PDF, and we talked about that earlier so that we can send it to FineSign. Once you do this, you know the fusions are endless. I think we have the demand snapshot that we use to send out demands, and we're gonna start creating other templates using the fusion. So it's a great tool. Hopefully it answers your questions, and feel free to shoot me an email and ask me. I'm happy to help. This may not be the best way of doing it, but it works for us so far. If you have a better way, also feel free to share. All right, thanks a lot.